Hi all, welcome to something a little bit different on the channel. This is just kind of touching on the topic of people give me a lot of stick on, whether it be Twitter, Discord, Twitch, YouTube, whatever it may be, about my approach to the game. So I thought I'd do an in-depth video about why I do what I do and kind of why I kind of incorporate this approach this year. And so you're welcome to smash likes on this, folks, and give like your take of how you play the game this year, because everyone's obviously different. So it'd be good to get as many like viewpoints and so forth and approaches and that. So this year we pretty much just play friendlies to do like the objectives for like players, from like the league players, the squad foundations, the milestones. If there's a pack of like VC Milan stuff, if it's stuff that can be done, if anything can be done in friendlies, I will do it. Basically, if it's doable, whether it be a weekly, whatever it may be. Like I really enjoyed just actually going into friendlies to unlock these cards, whether it be Foot Freeze Dam from Silver Lounge to Kappa, Molly, Delafeu, Bellerin, Koundé, Coman. The list goes on. Like there's a lot of players that we've been able to unlock from the Silver Stars. Like great idea. Been enjoying that every week. To the league players, the squad foundations. It lets you try out the teams that you'd not necessarily use and get a bit of fun at the expense. That is why we play the game. If you're not having fun with FIFA, then why are you playing it? That is pretty much it. Now, a lot of the objectives like squad battles, rivals, foot champions, we ain't gonna have that. That's going to remain like 0 of 6 for like the whole of like FIFA. Ain't going to touch it. Anything like the assist stuff, like we'll get them done. Co-op will probably get 100 wins eventually, probably for team of the season, not team of the year. We'll maybe try and get at least some games played just to get the extra packs in. But honestly, our effort this year, like foot friendly wise, I've played easily about 300 odd games. Because I've got to remember as well, a lot of the games we've gave like wins to people. Like if we're doing the objectives for say Kappa, we've got like the wins done, but we just need to play the game out. If I've just got to play the game out, if I know I can see that like I will play it properly anyway first, I will still play the game properly. But if I concede an early goal, I will then just say to my opponent, because I'll play off the first goal rule in that instance, and I will just say to my opponent, is it okay if I get a goal? I will give you an own goal, just to kind of prove that I'm genuine, that I'm not here to muck you about, and that way, if you need any of the objective, you're welcome to it. Basically, that's what I do. So that way, it kind of ticks on like what they need. So that way, I'm not wasting their time and I'm not wasting my own time. Especially if I only need one goal, but they need say 10 or 15. And the thing is as well, like for XP wise, like you can looking at the season anyway, it's looking like we're going to have about nearly 80k worth of like XP this season, which without having to touch squad battles or rivals is insane. I worked out roughly for every week, if you could have done silver, if there was enough like silver objectives to throw in on top to do for the week, then I would have been able to have done to level 30. I'd roughly worked out it was because of how much XP you were missing out on like every week, as it were. So I was like, wow, I'm missing out a lot of XP, but it is what it is. Now the thing is as well, this shows you how much prep I do. Obviously I've got my Silver Stars team and my Silver Senses team. The only SBC we have done this FIFA is Stockholm. His Record Breaker is a fun card. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun like doing, I sub him in usually, and he's a really good fun card. Does the business for me. And that's what you want in these type of cards, is they do the business for you. That's kind of what you want. Some people just will knock it and be like, oh, it's a silver 74, he's not going to be any good. I'm like, he actually plays really well. And when you think about it, we've unlocked like all the objective cards bar Jota. Jota with squad battles If he wasn't, we would have every player unlocked. And think about it, Jota would be 83 now, so we've been laughing. But we've really just been ploughing through. Whenever the objectives come on, like say a Friday night or a Wednesday night, when it's silver stars, we get done before our dinner. If it's when it was Kappa Foot Freeze, we did him in one night, and usually we try and stream it. But it always depends as well, I think, on the objectives. If it's not too many games, then I will try and obviously get it streamed up, because I know in my head I can get the game done pretty quickly. To win, it's just a case of the play element. I don't want to like bore you guys for say maybe an hour or hour and a half potentially, if it's like say 5 or 6 games I've got to play. Now every like league I have near enough got teams built up for that I will use, that I will assume will be applicable for like league players, squad foundations, like, because I genuinely expect like Turkey, CSL, SPFL, like other leagues, like smaller leagues in the game, to get attention, and I've like literally just prepped myself so I'm ahead of the curve, and I know in my head I'm like, right, I've got that team sorted, that team sorted. All I've got to then be doing is going straight in, get them done, and I'm laughing. And it's like the way, and that's why like I do like trades with like the cards that I end up using for the teams anyway, because I know in my head I'll be like, because the teams are 77 rated, I know in my head I'm like, well, I don't really need to use say 83, 84 informs if I don't have to, because I can go, right, well, I've got this guy, he plays left mid, and I'll like, some people will be like, oh, but you're using loans, and I'm like, well, they're there to be used. Like, if they're that league, like Corona's inform is a fun little card, so I just use them just because I have Harry's inform, I've used the card, I might as well just give the loan version a run out because it doesn't expire. And a lot of these cards as well, the informs especially, are just investments, and that's how a lot of these cards are. They'll be initial investments, and then by the time I finish the challenge, if I know I don't need the card anymore, but I know it's up, I'll sell it and take the profit. And it's kind of the way I've been, because I'd rather just make the coins. It's kind of been my mantra this year, is I'd rather just trade like 95% of the game, and the 5% is play the friendlies and just have fun at that. And like, I know in my head as well, because of how quick I'm unlocking the objective players, I know in a sense I could probably do player reviews, but usually when I unlock the player, it's because it's done in a night. Like, even though I might not necessarily, I don't usually start at 6 o'clock, I may not start till 8 o'clock. If I was starting at 6, there's a good chance I'd be able to be done, say before going to bed, and I could maybe squeeze a quick late review up of a card. It's possible, but at the same time it's not a given. But I'll see how things go though. I really will. But it's swings and roundabouts, really. That's what it is. It's like people just, because if people see me when I'm streaming, oh, I've got like say 4 million, like 3 million coins, and what do you call it? The like 3 million coins, 000 record, and 100 plus packs. They're like, what do you even play for? And because they don't realise, well, I do all the objectives, like, I don't see the point of doing rivals because I don't want the packs. I don't want to do foot champions because I don't want 281s. I don't want to be stressing myself out playing against the same type of teams and the same type of stress, really. But it happens though, and like, I'd rather play the game for as much fun as possible, and that's why I build like my swaps teams for like different leagues, so I know if I'm like, and it helps when you've unlocked like certain cards like Volin, Sambia, Molly, Bellerin, if you know like your Prem's like, oh that's covered for Prem or that's covered for Ligue 1 or Bundesliga, etc. You know right away, most of the time, because if you're investing in the cards, like the 80s, 81s, 82s, you say to yourself, right, well, I know I've got these guys, and I can just be like, right, they fit in. And plus a lot of them now, because of how maybe the next season might go, like I might have like France covered for something, or Argentina or Brazil or whatever. I'll have maybe say the nations covered the next time, so that way I'm like, perfect, I can build a nice French team that's going to cost me nothing, because I have all the French players or all the German players or all the Brazil or whatever it may be, however they set up say the next season for icon swaps. Like the loan cards are there to be used, or specials are there to be used, and sometimes I know in my head that like the teams will be, I might not have the centre backs because I'm stingy on my coins. If I know in my head, I'm like, well, it's going to cost this to buy this player, but I'm like, well, and if you need sometimes the first owner kind of rule in, and sometimes if you're like, well, I've bought these informs to make this team and I can't really do it, so I'm like, I've got to then adjust accordingly, and sometimes that's what happens, you just end up adjusting teams. And so I sometimes see in some of the teams like Mateus Cunha at like left back or Delafeu at left back, because I'll start them there. I might move to say free at the back, maybe in game or whatever, I'll move to defensive, but it's like a lot of these teams you end up me using like silvers in the team, but I'll end up using, like, because it's the team of the week card that you've unlocked through silver stars, and you get a bit of fun out of some of them. Like, that's the way you've got to look at it. If you're not having fun with this game, there's no need. Like I just will go about the game as I see fit. Like, to have made 7.5 million coins transfer profit, this FIFA is something, especially at this stage, if I'm honest, I wasn't quite expecting. I think because of how the game's been, I didn't expect to put as much effort into trading as I did, but I know what I'm capable of and whatnot, and I'm just happy. Like, the thing is as well, people forget, like, your match earnings, because you're doing just the foot friendlies, you don't earn as many coins a game, especially if people rage quit. So it's like I might have 120k or 120k, people might have 250, 300, and I'm like, well, I've probably played just as many games as you have, and that's what people forget. Like, honestly do forget that kind of element. Like, for me, this FIFA, to have put in as many games as I have, I've got to remember I've thrown a lot of games because of the objectives, because like if people need a hand with something or whatever, and I'm like, right, well, I know these guys need a hand, so let's sort them out and get them sorted out and whatnot. And like, you've got like your own records with those guys, but you know your own actual record is different because you know that you've just put so much time into it. And like, even though I've maybe played 300 or 400 games, it's like, well, I've not really played 300 or 400 games, because a lot of them I've just been like, oh, I've just quit 1-0 because we're doing golden goal, or like I don't actually, if I need to play an extended period, then whatever. But all in all, for me this FIFA, I am happy with how I am approaching the game. I know it's going to take a bit of time, and it's just going to be one of those things. Like, it's not going to be easy, but you're not going to please everybody. Like, I'm aware of that. Everyone approaches the game differently. Like for me, these packs are for Team of the Year. If it's 150, 200 packs, whatever it may be, by the time Team of the Year comes, I'll be like, right, this is what we're going to be burning through, see what we can do, and take it from there. Because I know that I want to give myself as much fun as possible with the game. If I'm not having fun, then I wouldn't be playing it. I wouldn't be doing content, I wouldn't be streaming, I wouldn't be trading, I wouldn't be doing anything. I'd probably be playing another game, might not even be playing the Xbox. So it's like, that's the way I'm trying to look at it. If I'm having fun with the game, that's what matters. And until you lose that fun, there's no point. So folk have to remember as well, the abuse element, they shouldn't really be giving, because you don't know what people's situation is like as well. But I've probably waffled on for a bit too long there, but I suppose I'm trying to be as honest to you as well, folks, because I feel it's important too, why we kind of take the approach that we do. So you're welcome to smash likes as always, folks. Give me your feedback, how you approach the game this year. Like, how have you found it? Like, what do you try and do to make yourself have as much fun as possible? So take it easy all, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.